All right, welcome everyone to tonight's training call. In case you don't know me, I'm Kara Lyons, and you are all part of my Wicked Roar team. Ashleigh, my team is the Wicked Roar team because I was actually the first. I'm in Massachusetts, and I was actually the first consultant in New England. So, out here near Boston, everything is like wicked awesome. Like people actually say that in real life, and
That is rad.
so we are the Wicked Roar team, and so tonight we're going to be talking about hostess prep, and I've invited Ashleigh Lautaha here. She is one of our very first consultants in LuLaRoe. She can probably tell us what number she is.
Yes.
Yeah, I first, so actually when I asked Ashleigh to do this webinar, I don't think I had really ever spoken to her in person. I had seen her at events, but I really got to know Ashleigh at first through her husband Yasi spoke at convention. I know that a lot of you were there, so you probably remember him, and it was a really great story about how she got started in the beginning, being one of the earliest consultants. And I know we're talking about hostess prep, but I hope that she'll also talk a little bit about that sacrifice that consultants put in early on to get out there and do these live parties and have them be successful. And, something I've been talking a lot about with you guys is that success at a live pop-up is not just about the number of pieces sold. It's about making those connections that have lifted us up. You're making someone's day. A lot of times they're making your day, but these people stay with you, and they, become your loyal customers, and they're your connections as you, continue on working your business. Home office is really putting out the push lately about booking, in-home pop-ups, because that's, everyone asks about like the cost of LuLaRoe. Why is it so expensive? Well, it's because, you have to put in money and effort in order to get that out of it. So it's the same with the effort that you're putting into your business. I don't like to sugarcoat things. I think you guys all know that there's a bit of sacrifice involved here and hard work. When I got started, I wasn't the very first, in the very first group of consultants, but being the first out here, nobody knew about LuLaRoe. And I'll tell you, I was happy to go do an in-home pop-up, because to me, that was much less work than an online pop-up. I think we have a lot of tools now and things are a bit streamlined, but online pop-ups are still a lot of work, if you ask me, to, just managing all the photos and, the photo management. So like the inventory of, your photo inventory, deleting things that are sold, adding things that come in, that's a lot of work. Never mind the uploading and the posting and the invoicing and then the checking and then the chasing people and then shipping it out. So it's a lot of work. Whereas I could just pack my stuff up and go to a pop-up and have a good time with people and sell some things. And typically those people would continue to shop with me. And they want to know what's coming, what else am I getting in their size? When are you getting more stuff? So to me, that was a lot easier. And the online just seemed like a bonus. Like, oh, if I can get my act together and post my stuff online, like great. But I'm going to book my in-homes first and kind of work around that. So that was really my process in the beginning for getting going. And I think that it worked well and taught me a lot. And I know there is such a trend right now to, want to be doing it all online or mostly online. And last week we actually had Jeff Pruitt talk to us about his online sales. He's doing a really great job. But one of the things that he stressed that I'm sure Ashleigh would agree with is that the in-homes really drive your online sales too. Like those people are going to want to come shop with you online because they know you and they've had that interaction with you. That being said, getting people to be a really great hostess takes a little bit of work to get them excited and to have them get their friends there and, the follow through and all of that. So I saw a post in Kim Roylance's group one day, and it was she loves to share what everyone else is doing. And this post was all about Ashleigh, and it was like a novel about hostess prep. So I'm like, we need to get her because, it's always great to have a fresh perspective. So that is why I invited her here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. I'm really excited. So hello, you guys. I am Ashleigh Lautaha. I am, like Kara said, from Washington State. We actually are a military family, and we've been here for about 3 years. And so I started LuLaRoe right around the time that we moved to Washington State, and I didn't know a soul. And that was kind of a brave, maybe uneducated decision. I don't know, but it was kind of what happened. And, it has been a really cool thing for us, but I would have to agree that in-home parties are what has built my business, and in-home parties are what will continue to build my business and what will continue to build our company as a whole so that everyone does well. That post that Kara was talking about with, are you muted now, Kara, or am I?
No, I'm still on.
No. Okay. So that post can you remind me which one it was?
Oh gosh, I don't have it up, but Kim posted in her group, and it was from, you about Hostess prep and your, just kind of process with that. And, she posts those novels.
I know. She always posts like the long posts that someone else,
Yeah.
So anyway, learning to prep a hostess was kind of a process for me. It was actually most definitely a process. My husband Yossi is on here. Mm-hmm. Welcome. Okay. So, a little bit about my story and how I got started with LuLaRoe. I was looking to shop for a skirt. One of my friends posted a skirt on Instagram, and I wanted one, and there was no way to shop for them online. So I sent the company an email, like, how do I buy one of these skirts? It's really stinking cute, but like, how do I get one? And I did not get an email back. I got a phone call back from Deanne saying, well, we don't have a way to shop online, but don't you want to sell them? And I was kind of like, I don't know about that. So, long story short, Deanne being the person that she is, I ended up with 100 skirts on my doorstep the next week. And I was ready to sell them. I thought I could conquer the world with these skirts after speaking with Deanne, right? I at the time had a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. I was pregnant with my third, who is Jackie, who may or may not make an appearance on this webinar at some point tonight. Whether you hear her or see her, she's usually quite loud on webinars. And we had just moved to Washington, and I knew no one. And so I knew that if this was going to make me any money, I had to get out into my community and make some connections. I was going to have to pull people in any way that I could. So I had people over from my church, and I kind of started doing my thing, right? I had people over, and they were shopping in my living room. I set up a table at a gym, and I ended up with a gig at a salon, and I was kind of doing my thing, and I felt like I was doing all right. I was making some extra money for my family. I wasn't spending a ton of time doing it because, like Kara said, with in-home parties, it's like, you pull up, you set up, you sell the stuff, you're gone, right? You're done. You've got the money in your pocket. So I was making some money. And then Deanne decided that she was going to fly up to Washington and train me. And so she set up 2 parties with her friends. And we got to the girls' houses, and I had the same amount of skirts. I had the same patterns of skirts. She didn't bring anything extra, extra fancy, extra crazy, extra cute. She didn't pick it out from the warehouse. She just had Michael ship it, right? We had probably the same amount of girls there that I had on my parties on my own, but things were flying everywhere. There were women trying on skirts in every room. I wanted to book a party with her because it was so much fun. Because of this energy that she was creating, my calendar started to fill up at those parties, and I sold more than I had ever sold. And that kind of was a turning point for me in my business, to see the energy that she put into the party there at the party, and the energy that she put into her interactions with the hostess before the party made a world of difference. So what then could I take from that experience, and what could I create for my business? So I decided that I kind of needed to channel my inner Deanne for every party. And that's what I started doing. I used to kind of think every time she texted me, I'd be like, this woman is so energetic. Like, why is everything awesome, right? Like everything with Deanna is always awesome, awesome, awesome. So I tried it myself. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to just text my hostesses and I'm going to tell them, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for our party in 2 weeks. Everything is awesome. All of the prints are so crazy cute. I can't wait. You are going to just pee your pants. It's like so exciting, right? I like channeled my inner Deanna. And what do you know? My party started to be more successful because my hostesses were feeding off of my attitude and my excitement and what I was bringing to them. Instead of expecting them then to set the tone for their party, I was setting it with them. And then they were taking that and setting that excitement up with their friends. And that translates into sales, right? So I think that it's really important to note that there might not be a script and there might not be a specific hostess prep letter that is the answer to success with your in-home parties. As a matter of fact, I know that there isn't. But if you're willing to be yourself and you're willing to be excited about the clothes, you're willing to talk to your hostess on a regular basis and maybe not forget about her until 2 days before. If you're willing to put the work in and communicate with her, that will then translate to sales. Some of the things that I do are, I don't have a hostess packet. I know that was one of the questions. I don't like send a packet or a letter. I have on my phone just paragraphs that I have saved kind of for posts that I try to customize every time I have a party. So if I'm doing it in the summer, I'm not going to copy and paste the same post that I'm doing that I had in the winter, right? I'm going to talk about how awesome the Amelia dress is with sandals and a belt and a necklace, or I'm going to talk about how the Amelia dress is great to just throw on for like a summer barbecue or whatever, right? So I have these things that are just kind of saved in my phone, and my hostess prep is mostly done through Facebook posts in their event or through texting the hostess and saying, hey, forward this on to your friends. One thing that has been really important for me is social media. So every time I have a good party, I'll post about it on my Instagram, and I'll take a nice, crisp, clean picture and put it up on my Instagram and say, oh my gosh, I had so much fun spoiling my hostess with free clothes tonight. Who wants to host the next one? And every time I do that, I'll get 2 or 3 requests for a pop-up. And then the tone is set the right way from the get-go, right? They're like, okay, well, I want to get free clothes, so I'm going to work to get my friends there, and it's going to be an awesome party. I think similarly, when you throw a good party, when you have gone to a pop-up and lots of people have showed up and the hostess has gotten 5 or 6 free things, the person who books is probably not going to invite just her 2 closest friends. She's going to invite everyone that she knows because she wants a closet full of free clothes too, right? So hostess prep for me starts with putting on really, really great events and creating buzz and excitement around my business all the time. So that's kind of my hostess packet spiel. I feel like you have to be invested in your business and be excited about it, right? And I'm happy to like kind of share the paragraphs that I have saved on my phone with you guys. I'll send them to Kara afterwards. But I really feel like it comes from your energy and your excitement and your wanting to have fun, exciting events. I really believe that people have a tendency to become what you expect of them. So if you expect of your hostess that she is going to be fun and she is going to be engaging and you are treating her like such, she's probably going to follow your lead. It's like your husband when he comes home from work. If you're excited to see him and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that you're home, and you are giving, hold on one second. If you get home and you are giving that, you're like so excited to see him and you're like, I'm so grateful that you're home and you're going to take the trash out and you're going to be the most amazing husband, he's probably going to follow that lead, right? Because that's what you expect of him and you're grateful for that. If he comes home and you're like, ugh, like, it's been such a long day with the kids. Like, are you going to take the trash out? Right? He's like, well, no, I don't want to. Right? The hostess is the same way. If you're like, well, I'm going to send you a letter about how you can't have your dog there, and I want to make sure that you have 15 people there, or I'm not even going to show up, right? It's not worth my time. Then she follows that lead. If you are upbeat and you're positive and you're committed to the party from day one, she will be too. So yeah, I post pictures of myself and the styles in every event. I introduce the styles and I post to my Instagram, and that's kind of my hostess prep. I do the week of the party. I post 3 days before, the day before, and the day of. I also text my hostess and say, here's some really cute pictures. It's a sneak peek of what I have in store for you guys for my party. And she gets to text that to her friends. And I think I have a pretty good average. I sell 45 to 50 pieces at every pop-up. And that is, I think, kind of just a testament that if you get the people there and you get them excited about the styles, they will buy it. One of the things that I've
do you think there's like it sounds like it's something I just noticed, like I think there's a difference that you're sending her stuff that she can share and post versus like you just posting it.
Yes,
that seems like that made a difference for you.
I think that it coming from her and her being excited about the clothes and excited about the stuff that I've sent her, and then kind of giving it to her friends, there's something to be said about that. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. If their friend who they've known for 5 years is telling them, oh my gosh, look at all these cute florals, I can't wait to be there. Or, oh, look at all these cute geometric patterns that she got in. And I thought I wasn't going to like the Julia dress, but I tried it on and I really loved it. You should just come and try it too, whatever. Then she's going to trust her friend. And that's a big part of why we have hostesses. That's why our business is built on hosted events, I feel like, because people do business with who they know, like, and trust. I had another thought to go along with that. Oh, at the party too. If you can get your hostess trying every style on, her friends will do it too. If you can get her putting on a Julia dress and then an Amelia dress and then the Madison skirt or whatever, you will have her friends trying it on too. Cause it doesn't really look like much on a hanger, right? You pull, a Nicole dress off of the rack. It's kind of like, take it or leave it. That's kind of a cute fabric, but like, whatever. Right. But you put it on someone's body and it's like, whoa, that is so cute. I've never seen you look so cute before. And then you're not telling people that they look cute. They can see it for themselves. And I think that there's something to be said about that for sure. I had a girl once who came to a party, and this was actually a big fear of mine in hosting in-person parties, was that people would come and they would think I was like a slimy salesperson and they like wouldn't talk to me. So it was probably about 6 months into my business, and I had gotten to this party and she had like 15 RSVPs and probably like 7 showed up. And then the last girl kind of trickled in and she like would not make eye contact with me. And she like sat on the couch and she kept saying how ugly everything was. And I was like, oh gosh, like this is kind of my worst fear. Like I feel so embarrassed that I'm here. And I just felt awful. I sat down and I decided that I was going to make a connection with her instead of kind of like, whatever, you don't like my clothes, I'm not going to talk to you. I just decided to sit down and just kind of be her friend. So I sat down with her, and come to find out, she just had a baby who she left her kids at home. I never would have known. And she felt really, really crappy about her body. And I was like, well, listen, let's just put these, let's put a couple of outfits together for you. Let's see what we can do for you. And she went in the room, she tried on a couple of dresses, and she came out and she was glowing, right? And so I think that if you go and you're invested in the party and you're invested in making connections with everyone, you'll come out on top. It'll be worth your time. But it's all about the tone that you set, right? Let's see. It's all about making connections with people. Like Carol was saying earlier, we have this huge online trend. It's really easy to sell stuff online. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight was, hold on, the Everything is Ugly lady is my best friend who tried to get me to not onboard. She tried stuff on with another friend. It's right. Like everyone gets hooked. They just have to put it on their body. Like you just kind of have to get them over that hump. And sometimes you have to be a little bit self-deprecating to do it. Like, come on, just put it on. Just put it on. If I can wear it, you can wear it. Right. So earlier this week, my husband sent me a screenshot of this old Instagram account that I had. And he was like, whoa, this is a throwback. And it was one that I had, like Kara said, I was the third consultant and I was just kind of trying to figure things out. So I made like 3 different Instagram accounts. I had no idea what I was doing and I never thought about deleting them. So I still have them. So there's one that I never really built. It's called LuLaRoe by Ashleigh. And there's a couple of lifestyle pictures, but there's a bunch of pictures of like maxi skirt prints and grids with numbers on them. And I had a bunch of friends and family who were like, oh my gosh, I really think that that's cool that you're like selling clothes. Could you post some pictures online so that we can buy them from afar? And I was like, well, yeah, I will. So I took pictures of all of the clothes and I took the time to post them on my Instagram, and nobody bought anything. Nobody bought a darn thing. But I went out and I still did my pop-ups. I didn't throw the towel in and say, oh, well, these must just be really ugly skirts. Like nobody wants them. My sister doesn't like them. So whatever, I'm just going to stop selling this stuff. I took it out and I did in-home pop-ups. And as I did the in-home pop-ups, they all sold. You can go back and look at the LuLaRoe by Ashleigh Instagram. And in the comments, I went back and I marked everything that sold as sold. Like sold numbers 2, 3, and 6. And then a day later sold numbers 4 and 5 or whatever. And it just went to, it just confirmed to me that our push for you guys right now is right. We have created this awesome customer base in the first 3 years of, being a company and with LuLaRoe being in existence. We've created this cool customer base and people love the clothes and they're willing to buy them and they buy them like crazy people, right? But what if instead of putting your stuff online and then, 17 pieces out of your 300 sell and you're like, that didn't go so well. Maybe I'll post again next week and hope that more sell. What if you worked the 72-hour game plan and you went out and you took all of those same pieces to 6 different parties? That means that you're getting it in front of 60 different people who probably don't know what LuLaRoe is, who probably aren't looking for the unicorn leggings or the Star Randy or whatever is the craze that week. And you're probably going to sell way more than if you had just thrown it up online. So that's just a random thought of mine.
Yeah, no, I think it's so, like, when you're selling online, it's so easy to just get caught up in like, oh, I've had that piece forever. And it'll be like, you've had it for like 2 months and you and I know that that's nothing that, it can,
right?
You can have something and sell it like a year later. And I don't care. It can be like the worst party. It could be a 7-piece party. But if you sell that ugly thing you've had forever, you're like, victory dance. Like,
yes.
Party. Like,
you guys, I had this Amelia that was like pleather and it was just awful. And I thought it would stay on. I mean, people would like take it off of the racks and be like, ugh, like audibly, like, ugh. And I thought I would have it forever. Like I tried wearing it and like tucking the tag in and posting it on Instagram. I mean, usually everything that I wear sells. That did not sell. I took it to every party. I was like pulling it off of racks, like, just like, oh my gosh, have you guys seen this one? And people would just be like, ugh. They did not like the pleather Amelia. And then one day I took it to a pop-up and this woman was like, oh my gosh, I love pleather. Right. And she wanted the pleather freaking Amelia and it was amazing and it was great. Mm-hmm. But you just have to get it in front of the right person. I think that the point here is not necessarily that we have ugly pieces, even though we do, or maybe it's something that we don't like, right? I mean, the bunny Irma, you guys, I thought that I would have bunny Irmas for like the rest of my life, but they all sold eventually. I think that the point is that if you don't stop trying to get your product in front of new people, if you follow the program that has been that has been created by the First Consultants and by Home Office, if you are booking your parties, 2 to 3 a week at least, and getting it in front of new people who have a hostess who is going to advocate and do your advertising for you. If you're doing that every week and you're ordering every week, everything will sell. You will not only will you be selling it, you won't be trading it and losing money, right? You're not going to have regrets about this business that you have chosen to be a part of. You're now going to be able to say 6 months later, I'm successful and look at what I've built. And I think that that's just, I don't know. I just think that's so important.
And I think the whole online presence makes it easier for people to compare. And if you focus on your in-homes, you kind of can stay out of that and not worry about how much everyone else is selling online. And it's, going to be successful to you. Like I tell my team when I started, I think my first pop-up, I sold like 7 pieces. And then maybe the next one was like 18. And I was like, this is great because these women had no idea what LuLaRoe was and they like it. So,
and I think that if you guys try at this point in your business to recreate that, to take your product out and introduce it to people who don't know what LuLaRoe is, instead of putting it up online for maybe the people who do know what it is, you will find success. And don't ever compare yourself. I had no one to compare myself to, so I never quit. But I see it a lot. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, well, I only sold 30 pieces at my launch. I'm like, girl, I sold like 4, right? I sold 4 my first day of selling things. If I had sold 30, I would have like died, right? Like had a heart attack. Like, we are rich. I don't know what I would have done, but it would have been a huge deal to me. So just know and look long-term with your business. When you're driving down the road, you are not looking at the road right in front of you. You are looking far so that you can stay on the right path, right? Do that with your business. Give yourself 6 months to commit to working a 72-hour game plan and to ordering regularly, and you will not fail. If you call 5 people every single day, your calendar will be full. If your calendar is full and you have inventory to get in front of the people, think about your experience putting the clothes on your body for the first time. if you can do that for other people, they'll buy your stuff, right? It's really simple. But I think that the work goes into booking the parties and then prepping the hostesses and getting them excited and maybe having a routine. I know that at first I kind of would book the party and then I'd wait until maybe the week before to call the hostess or to text her or whatever. But I think if you give her 3 weeks of prep time, that's a good window for her to be able to get all the information that she needs to get excited and for it to not be too far out that her friends forget about it, right? It's enough time for people to plan for it, not too far out that they're going to forget about it. I just approached a major YouTuber who totally slammed LuLaRoe in a 30-minute video. That's a bummer, but more likely than not, she will get like hundreds of leggings in the mail, right? And only that one pair will have a hole in them or something. Hopefully we can drown it out with positivity is always the goal, right? Do you guys ever do giveaways at your pop-ups? I always announce a giveaway and say for the first 15 girls, after the first 15 girls arrive, I'm going to give away a Sarah cardigan maybe or an Amelia dress, something exciting so people want to be there early. And I don't think that there's nothing bad about being your own hype man and kind of maybe creating excitement where there might not necessarily be some to begin with. Maybe you are like, oh my gosh, I hate all of the stripes on my rack, but you're in your hostess prep, you're going to say, oh my gosh, you guys, I have the hottest prints. You're going to love them because who knows? Like the girls at the party might only like stripes. You don't know. You have to be excited about what you have and create that excitement.
So do you is that one of the things you tell your hostess to pass along that there's going to be a giveaway, half an hour in or something? Mm-hmm. That sounds like I know that's a question we get a lot is how do you coach your hostess to stick within the time frame that you set? Because we don't want to be there for 3 hours,
Well, I'm really good at setting boundaries and about kind of sticking up for myself. So in the beginning, I was not though. So I would go and then the hostess would be like, oh, I have one more friend coming. Can you just stay? And I'd be like, well, sure. And then I'd be sitting there for 30 minutes and then the friend would arrive. And then she'd try on 17 things and then everything was out of order again. And then
she'd buy one pair of leggings.
Yes. Then she bought one freaking maxi skirt and I'd be like I was not happy about that. So I decided that I just needed to set boundaries. And I think that it's okay to gently say, okay, so it's about 15 minutes before before the time that we had scheduled for this to be over. I want to make sure that you get all of the hostess rewards that you earned. I mean, you worked hard for those. Go pick your stuff and I'm going to start packing up like the kids stuff, right? Or I'm going to start packing up the Madison skirts because I don't think you like those or whatever. And then create the urgency to like get it done. I also, most times when I'm unpacking, I'll have her help me, right? And then I'll say, okay, you get first pick, make your pile, put it in your room so no one else gets it. So then you're not really stuck there waiting.
Yeah, definitely having them shop, having them pick out their stuff early and try it on while they're there and all of that.
I think that helps with the friends who are coming in too, because then they walk in the door and they're like, what's that on the kitchen table? And she's like, oh, that's my pile. And they're like, you have like 17 things. Like, why? Okay, well, there must be something about this. So I'm going to go and look for some stuff myself, right? Yeah. So I think having them shop early and just being able to say, we're 15 minutes out. I'm just going to start packing up the whatever. I'm going to start putting them back in order and just being able to say and stick up for yourself that your time is worth something and you've got to get home to your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And they should respect that. I mean,
yeah.
Actually, someone posted in our team page a really interesting thing that I've never tried before that I might have to try. She said that her hostess actually put on the invite for her friends to come, I don't know, at 2, whatever it was, and that LuLaRoe was coming at 3. So they basically got all of their socializing and eating out of the way, and then the consultant arrived at 2:30 and they all helped her carry stuff in and they were ready to shop. So I thought that was pretty good.
Why not? Right?
Why don't we all do that?
Any help that I can get lugging all of those IKEA bags into the house, I will take. I know some people also offer I'll give you an extra free piece if you help me set up. People will
I don't give them an extra free piece. I just tell them I'm going to be there 30 to 40 minutes early. If you can help me set up, it's a lot of stuff. That would be great. Mm-hmm. And I've never had a problem.
They're okay, why not? Right. Hostess incentives. I always do 1 free for every 10 sold. I always round up. If they are at 24, I round up to 30 and I give them the most expensive pieces first. I had one hostess one time, like 3 years ago, who she had people over and she only sold 7 pieces, and I made her pick a pair of leggings instead of taking like the maxi skirt that she wanted. And I still, to this day, feel terrible about it. She never booked another party, and neither did her friends, right? You want your hostess to walk away on cloud 9 because she got a whole closet full of free clothes, so that when her friend is like, oh my gosh, that's a cute dress, she's like, oh yeah, I got this for free. I hosted with Ashleigh. Here's her number. You need to call her. Her calendar is full, but she gives away a lot of free clothes, right? You want them to say that for you so that her people are calling you and your calendar is booked and your stuff is selling. If you get there and they sell 9 pieces and you're like, you can have a free pair of leggings, they're going to be like, not doing that again, right? I have girls who just recently joined my team, and granted, it's a big team, but they just recently joined my team, having known me and known my business for about 2.5 years. And she brought up to me that she really appreciated those hostess rewards. She said that the first time that she hosted, she did her very best, and she only got like 3 or 4 people there. And we sold like 5 or 6 pieces. And she said she felt so crappy about it. But the one saving grace was that I was kind and I still gave her free stuff, right? They already feel crappy about maybe not having a good party and wasting your time. If you can still make a connection from that and create a friendship and a relationship there, it will come back to pay you back in the long run. She booked another party and I still came back and did it, right? I didn't say, you didn't throw a good one. Like, I'm over it. I'm not going to come back. She threw another party, and the next time she sold 20, and the next time she sold 60, and now she's on my team, right? So I think that it's important to remember that we need to be generous. One of the things that Mark told me in the very beginning, when our conference calls on Tuesday at 10, they've always been on Tuesday at 10. It was at an actual conference call where we could speak to each other. He told us that without your hostess, you would have nowhere to sell. So show that gratitude to her. We do have a really amazing product, and it is hot, right? It's a hot commodity, but we need to make sure that we show our gratitude to the hostess that has opened up her home and advertised our business for us. If we were a brick and mortar, we would have to be paying a lot of money for advertising and for rent and for electricity and for a phone bill. We have zero overhead and the income of a lot of brick and mortar stores. So we need to be really grateful to our hostesses for that.
Yeah. On that note, it's similar to, I always say, we have great profit margins, and we're supposed to use them to be generous. We are not supposed to use them to discount just so we can move stuff out the door because we're afraid that we're not going to sell it. But that's what I use my profit margins for rewarding my hostesses, for being generous, for having little guest specials once in a while, stuff, or for shopping in my home, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I like that. So that's kind of my thing with hostess prep. I think that it's all about creating urgency, about showing your hostess that you're consistent, right? You want to be posting on social media so she knows that you're invested in your business every day. And you want to be in touch with her. You want her to know that you're going to have a lot of, new, fresh prints. But it's about creating excitement and building relationships. I think that some of that might have gotten lost in a little bit of the building of this business and how big that has gotten. But that is what this whole business is built on, is creating relationships with people through in-home pop-ups. So
absolutely. Do you use any posting services? So do you set up any scheduled posts to your Facebook events or anything?
Never. I never do. I never do. I always make sure that I'm personalizing it a little bit for the hostess. I do try to post very first thing in the morning. So if I'm posting at 6:30 or 7 a.m., that's likely the first thing that's going to show up in their newsfeed, so they'll see it. But I really feel really strongly about making sure that my posts are personal and that it's coming from me and that I'm actually excited about their party and that it's not on autopilot. I never want my business to be on autopilot. However, I do have everything saved in my phone, so I don't have to type it all over every time. I just customize it a little bit for my hostess. How do you book a hostess again at the party? So booking parties at the party, I will at checkout, that's kind of my opportunity to book them. I'll just say, oh my gosh, I had a really good time with you. This was really fun. When are we going to get together again? I would love to book you. I have next Thursday and October the 26th or whatever. And they're like, oh, okay. So I always make sure that my calendar is full, right? So they see that there are only limited gaps and they want to book in a place that I tell them that I have an opening at. And that's how I book people at parties. I think that just being there, being present, being willing to connect with people, even when it feels a little bit uncomfortable, that opens the door for them to want to book a party with you. And I know that that doesn't come naturally for everyone. I didn't start very confident. I was the girl who would like grab my bins of maxi skirts because remember I started when we only had unhemmed maxi skirts. So I would grab my bins of maxi skirts and I would like set them on her couch and then go hide in the kitchen because I didn't really want to talk to anybody. But as soon as I gave myself permission to be brave and to connect with people and to make sure that I was invested in being there, my calendar filled up because people felt connected to me and they wanted to come back and do it again. They wanted to buy the clothes that I was selling instead of the ones at Target. How do you prep hostesses or hype things up for a party with people who are new to LuLaRoe and don't necessarily know all of the styles? So one of the things that I do in my Facebook events, and it should be noted that I don't do Facebook pop-ups. I do post in my VIP page, but those are all people that I have in some way or another made a connection with, whether it's a friend of a friend or a friend of a hostess, or somehow they're connected to me, at least a good portion of them. But the way that I prep my hostesses is I make a Facebook event and I post and introduce all of the styles. And the pictures that I post with them are mostly pictures of me. They're pictures of me in an Amelia dress and me in a Madison skirt and me in a classic tee and a Cassie skirt or whatever. And I'm talking about how comfortable they are. Because if I'm not wearing it every day, then why would they want to be? And then once they get to the party, they're kind of like, oh, you posted about this thing with pockets. Like, what was that? They're not going to remember that it's the Amelia dress. But I'm like, oh, that's the Amelia dress. Come right over here. I have a ton of them for you. Let's get you one. Try this size, and this size. Off you go. Right? And I think just making sure that I'm consistent in posting the information and the styles that I carry is really important. And it kind of has become second nature to me. So I don't know. Some people might prefer like a posting service. And if that works,
you're just making the time every day. So there's like 15 minutes a day where you do your event.
Yes. It's like 10 minutes in the morning where I'll look at my calendar and I'm like, okay, this one, and this one need posts this week. And I just do them. And it's just part of my routine. Just like social media is part of my routine. I don't necessarily like getting in front of the camera, but it makes a world of difference for my business to be able to hand someone my business card or for them to look at my Instagram and see that I've been posting every day for the last, 3 years. It makes a huge difference. Let's see. Do you get much engagement on the event when you post? I feel like it's cricket, so I don't know if anyone is even reading or seeing it. If I see low engagement, I have my hostess pipe in, right? Or I have her start texting her friends. But I don't get a ton of engagement usually on Facebook. Like no one's going to comment and be like, oh my gosh, that is so cute. I want to come and support your business. I just don't think that's our culture, right? But if I can get the RSVP count to go up a little bit every day, then that makes me happy. So that's kind of my goal, not necessarily to get comments, but to kind of increase the RSVP count every time I post. Make it more and more and more exciting so they don't want to miss what I'm putting on. So terrible. I drink diet soda like an idiot.
We forgive you.
Thanks. Thanks for still being my friend.
I think this is really great because you're teaching us that there's not like a prescribed method that everyone needs to follow, right? Like especially a lot of you newer girls starting out. I think because you see that there's people that have been successful, there's like an expected method or like how to. And truthfully, there's so many different ways to go about things, but I think that what is really most important is just your attitude about it and being you. Like Ashleigh could do things different ways, but as long as she's like making it about her, showing her excitement and rubbing that off on her hostess, that's really what is, driving people to get to parties and want to sell. So have you guys have not, the low RSVPs. I know that is always a question. So what do you do if they're not expecting a lot of people?
Well, I think that there's one of two things. I touch base with the hostess and I try to always assume innocence. Like, oh, hey, so I see that there's only 2 people RSVP'd and they're you and I. So I was just wondering, like, did we get everyone invited? And do you think that this is a date that's working for your friends? If she responds and she's like, yes, I want to do this. I have 4 or 5 neighbors coming and they're not on Facebook. I will go and I will be invested in being there and in doing that party for her. I mean, even if 2 people show up, that's fine. I've made a connection. She is now a loyal customer for life, right? And I don't have to go back there again for like 4 months. It's fine. It's part of the business, right? It is. Deanne even told me when she first started that she has had parties where 2 people showed up at. And obviously you don't want that to be like par for the course, but sometimes it's that way. However, I do give them the option. Like, so it looks like this date might not be working for your friends, right? So do you want to reschedule? And if she says, no, I want to keep it, then I'll still go. But a lot of times she knows that her friends aren't coming and that you're going to show up and it's just going to be you and her and one other person. And that's not what she intended, right? So we just reschedule. Or what about having it at your house? I have a ton of stuff. So I sometimes will invite them over to my house. So I think it just depends on the hostess and what she wants. Hopefully you have gathered from this conversation that I really try to build a relationship with my hostesses, and I really try to make sure that they know that I have their best interests at heart. Hold on one second. Sorry. Okay, you're going to have to wait. Okay? Sorry, babe. Jackie, I still need you to be really quiet, okay? I told you Jackie was going to make an appearance. She's the only kid that ever does. She's my really darling 3-year-old. Anyway, are you going to come up here and say hello? Are you sure?
Yeah, mine usually, this is why I don't do things during the day. She's just up in my lap.
I know, but if we did it at 9 p.m., you guys would be like, why are we doing this? Why are we talking
about this? It's 9 p.m. our time.
Girl, right? Why are we doing this with this crazy Lautaha girl? Here, honey. Okay. I feel like I had another point that I wanted to make to you guys. I'm just going to run away to like my LuLaRoe room or something. Okay. So, ouch. Okay. What were we talking about before Jackie came in? Sorry.
Like lower RSVPs, rescheduling. And then someone asked a question like, do you ever, once you're there, encourage your hostess to make some phone calls and texts?
Yes. When I did my party with Lindsay Wheeler, she didn't know very many people and she did her very best, but she didn't have like hundreds of people there, right? She had, hold on. Jackie,
hi.
I don't have soda.
It's totally okay.
She's looking at me with this look like, I know I'm not supposed to do this. She's like, I really want some. Anyway, so Lindsay didn't have hundreds of people there. She just had maybe like 8. And a lot of them were, she's from this little town called Eatonville, and it's not like fashion central. It's really, really country. It's really small. So a lot of the people that were there were not really wanting to buy clothes. They just kind of wanted to hang out. But Lindsay got on and she was Skyping people. She texted everyone that she knew, and she was like, okay, well, I'll mail it to you and this and that, right? And I kind of learned from that, okay, well, if we don't have a good turnout, maybe my hostess can do that. And sometimes she doesn't feel comfortable, but if she feels comfortable, that's always an option. I try not to force people though. If they don't want to, be Skyping their friends and family, not everyone is like as ballsy as Lindsay. So that's okay, right? I'm there for them to have a good time and maybe not even necessarily to sell a ton of stuff. I feel like my main thing at pop-ups is I want to sell product, but I also want to make connections. I want to book more parties. I want to leave a good impression on everyone because I'm there almost like a job interview. Are we going to make a good connection, and are you going to come back again? Right.
So I don't have like a requirement number either. A lot of people ask that. And I always say, like you, it's not always about the number of people that are coming. It could be 3 people and they could buy 20 items, which I would consider really good for 3 people, It
happens. Yes, totally. If you've made a good connection.
And you can have a really good time. So it can be measured, in ways other than how many pieces you sold. So I agree. I always encourage that.
I agree. I know that one other question was, what if your hostess is silent in a Facebook event? And like I said, I don't do Facebook pop-ups, but I know that a lot of girls on my team do. And what they'll do is just encourage interaction from other people, right? Like, let's play a game, or let's all post pictures in LuLaRoe, or whatever you can do to kind of encourage engagement. I feel like it's really easy for people to miss posts too on Facebook events. So make sure that they have turned on like event notifications or group notifications. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah. I think messaging the hostess to message her guest to RSVP, because if they're not RSVP'd, yes, then they're not seeing the post either.
Yes. Yes. I definitely think that if there are fevers and tummy bugs in the home, that it's okay to say, I don't want that. Let's reschedule when no one's going to vomit on me. Like, that would be preferable to me. I think that that's okay.
Yeah. Have you ever gone into someone's house where they're like, where it's clearly smoke in their house and there's been like pet hair and like
cat pee, done it all. Yes. It's not always pleasant, but it is worth it in the long run, right? I've been to the places where, I mean, I've been in some like
if it's
that I'm just
not
like
too cold, you could set up outside.
Or too hot, right? Sometimes it's hot. Let's see. I really just feel like if you are making the effort to make a connection with these people and you are invested in your business, your parties will be good and it will pay off in the long run. Absolutely. It's simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. Work the 72-hour game plan, write those 50 names, and call them. I've had a lot of girls lately tell me like, well, I can't get any parties. I'm like, well, have you called anyone? They're like, no, I Facebook messaged them. I'm like, well, you're going to have to call them. If you don't know anyone, then get dressed in your cutest LuLaRoe and go out and meet some people. Because the people there, you just go with them. I didn't know anybody. I knew 0 people in Washington, right? So if I can do it, you can too. I am no one special, but I have been really, really successful with this business. And it all comes back to consistency and having that long-term vision, knowing that the 10-piece party is not going to make or break you as long as you spin it to your advantage and you have made connections with people there. I think that it is actually right to mention that you prefer no smoking during the pop-ups. I always kind of pawn it off on like, well, for, in consideration to my next customers, I need to make sure that there are no pets and that there's no smoking. Just because, allergens, right? One of my sons has asthma and I can't have like smoke everywhere, so I think it's good to set those boundaries and to kind of set the expectation. Because if you don't set the boundary and you don't set the expectation, your hostess doesn't know either. Then you arrive and it's uncomfortable and it's probably not going to be a good experience. If you tell her when you first message her about the party, right, that there can be no pets and no smoking in the home, then she knows, okay, well, I'm going to book with you. I'm probably just going to book at my mom's house, or maybe I'll book it at the community center or whatever. I know that I need to get a different venue. Otherwise, it's uncomfortable for everybody. If they smoke in their home, do you host the pop-up at your house? Sure. A lot of my pop-ups that I do right now are at my house, but why not, right? I think that a lot of what we do as consultants is kind of find the positive and use it to your advantage. So, okay, well, you don't even have to clean your house. Like, just come to mine. I will clean mine. I'll provide the cupcakes. You bring the wine or whatever, and we will have a great time.
Yeah. I mean, I tell them probably the same as you. I'm like, if you live near me, let's do it here because I have more stuff than I can possibly bring to your house. So I still do them occasionally for people that live further away. I can't bring everything. So I'm like, if you're nearby, come here. You're going to get everything.
Right? How many pop-ups do you do regularly, Kara? I only do like 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah, like similarly. I sell in my shopping group usually once a week, and then I do like 2 or 3 a week. So
yeah. And I would think that your online audience is kind of built by that in-person pop-up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember so specifically a time where I was like, there ain't no way that I am selling stuff online. That takes so long. Like, seriously, you guys, you pack up the stuff and you put it in your car and you take it to the house and the people show up and they buy it and you leave with cash in your pocket and then you pack it up and you come home and you're done. Like, the online stuff was so hard for me to kind of get turned on to, because I was like, well, so you want me to take pictures? Then you want me to take the time to post it online? Like, that's a lot of cap.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Right. And then I have to like figure out who claimed what. I have to write all of these like names and figure out who has what. And then I have to invoice them for it. And then I have to pay them or get their payment. And then I have to ship it and hope that it gets to them. Like, that's a lot. That's annoying. And
they're messaging you, can you show me what you have in small Nicole's?
Right. And you're like, no, I can't. Sorry, I cannot. How do you get people to book during a week? Everyone seems to want Friday or Saturday. Yes, Jackie. Here. All right. I won't give her soda, but I will give her my phone. My bad, Mom. Okay. So, I think that just setting the precedent and telling yourself, okay, I'm going to book 4 daytime parties this month, and writing the slot into your calendar and putting it out there. It's not going to work for everyone, but if you're asking everyone at checkout, oh my gosh, like, when are we going to get together? I'd love to have a party with you. Okay, I have Tuesday morning and I have some weekends. Which one do you want? Right? Or I have Tuesday and I have Saturday, or I have Tuesday and I have Thursday. If Tuesday and Thursday don't work for them, they're not going to say, well, I'm not going to have a party. They're like, well, what do you have? What else do you have available? Then you can kind of open up a weekend. But if you give them a weekday first, it's likely that someone is going to take the weekday. And I really like
my weekday pop-ups. Well, I actually don't really do daytime ones. That is something I maybe need to get into. Got to find the other, moms that are home during the day. But my weeknight parties, at this point, I do them here because I don't, it is a lot to get packed up in the afternoon to go out and, get back later. But, so that's a kind of, especially for local people, just come on over after work, or, after you give your kids dinner, just come on over. It's, it's easy. It's, so.
And I think don't overthink it either, right? Like, just, if that's what you want to do, ask the people that you are trying to book with. And if they can't do it, then they can't do it, but someone eventually will. Mm-hmm. You guys do a lot of daytime. I know daytimes are a little bit harder, but I like doing daytime ones. Yes, the after school ones. I used to only do after school because it was the only time I could get a babysitter. And my husband did not enjoy LuLaRoe, so I wanted to be done by the time he was home from work, so it wasn't taking away from family time. And those were some amazing parties to like set up at like 2:30, and then at 3:00 everyone shows up. And they're just kind of in that like kind of limbo time between school and dinner. And they come and they buy 3 or 4 things, and their kids play with each other's kids, and then they go home. And it's like, it's a good time. So I think it's a good thing. Yes, for teachers and for salons. Oh, we just did this webinar with Syra and Vanessa. And they said that what they do when they go into salons is they go, do you have a vendor program? And they're like, no, I don't have a vendor program. And you're like, what? You don't have a vendor program? So all the salons in like Boston and New York have them. Like, okay, so let me tell you what a vendor program is. And then you proceed to tell them how they should be having vendors in their salon, having VIP nights. They've had a lot of success with that. So I don't know, whatever avenue you can get booked, teachers, at schools, at salons, or wherever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like exercise, yoga studios, that type of thing too would be a good place.
Yes. One of my very first things, I set up a table at my gym that I went to. I think that the manager just like felt sorry for me. Like, okay, this poor pregnant woman can like set up her maxi skirts, but it was good. I made really great connections. I booked a party at the salon down the street, and it really helped to grow my business. So wherever you can get, time with your product in front of people. Mm-hmm. That's exciting. Your first pop-up is scheduled at a salon. That's awesome. Women who go to salons have money to spend. So why not with you, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I think we covered a lot, and I know it's late and we've taken like an hour of your time. So thank you so, so much, Ashleigh, for chatting with us tonight. I think it was a really great perspective, just about how attitude is everything and being generous and, remembering that this is your business. So don't be, you can't be all like, about it, like, I got to lug the stuff. That you chose it and you got to be excited about it. And that's what is going to attract, the right type of customers and, hopefully future teammates to your business as well.
Totally. I mean, I have had those days too, right? The days where you're like, oh, I don't really want to pack up my stuff and go and set it up at a party and sell, make $400. Like I would pay someone $400 to let me stay home tonight. Like I just don't want to do it. But I'm so glad that I forced myself to show up for my business every single day.
Fake it till you make it. That's what Deanna
right? Fake it till you make it. Believe it till you be it. Whichever, saying you want to use, you've got to be committed to making your business work. Last year at convention, Larry Wingett said something that really hit home to me. He said that a lot of people think that what is the driving factor behind a successful business is passion. And he was like, I don't want passion anywhere near my business. And I was like, what? What do you mean you don't want passion anywhere near your business? This is my passion. I was like, that is so weird that he would say that. And then he said, the definition of passion is a barely controllable emotion. And he's right. I don't want a barely controllable emotion driving my business. I want consistency and I want commitment. And I want to know that I am going to show up for my business every single day. And if you guys will commit to showing up at your business, to doing the pop-ups even when you don't feel like it, to smiling at the hostess who's like, oh, is this all you have? One time I lugged 1,200 pieces, 1,200 pieces of clothing into someone's house, up her porch stairs.
Oh,
and she's
you
like,
don't have a lot of size.
I'm like, honey, we just can't. We just can't right now. I just can't even, right? I was so mad, but I chose to smile at her and say, yes, that's all. Right? And then walk away and take a deep breath and come back and sell the heck out of my stuff. If you will show up and you will be committed to making connections at every party that you do, your business will be successful in the long run. There's a reason that Deanne and Mark talk about that every single time they get on our company calls. There's a reason that Kara talks to you about that every time. It's because if you will do those simple things, you will be successful. So thank you so much for having me on the call and for listening to me while I told you Jackie was going to make an appeurance.
She was fine.
She all knows her. They all know Jackie. They're like, oh, we're taking a Jackie break. So anyway.
Yeah, my kids are much
having me.
Thank you so much. This was great. Thank you.